Aloha, welcome back to Local Harvest Food Hub. Today we're going to talk about Lapa'au cucumbers. It's been a blessing for us to find Lapa'au Farms organic growing methods and team with a high quality production and food that you can trust. And it's something that we want to stand behind for our local farms and local food into our community, is things that are grown the right way in a sustainable, regenerative farming practice. And today's item is Japanese cucumbers. Michael and his team have been growing for many years now, and it's some of the highest quality cucumbers we can find on island and even in the state.
So we have 3 different varieties in here. We have a Japanese variety, which is this one. And let's see if we can find any that are, we pick every morning, so there's not many that are ripe right now, but usually they're a little bit longer than this, a little crinkly but smooth. And none of these actually have any seeds in them. They'll have a seed cavity, but because they're all hermaphrodites and we don't have pollinators in here, there's no seed that will develop. So it's really all flesh, and it's sweet, it's delicious. This variety is called Poniente. It's an English variety. The plant is very vigorous. It's definitely the strongest out of all the varieties. The seed's very expensive. It's actually like $1 a seed. But these cucumbers will get very crinkly. So I'll again harvest this one a little young. So these will get about almost twice as big as this. Stay pretty crinkly, but usually about that long. And really delicious, sweet just like this, but just a different look. Tends to be almost like a little chewier. This has a better snap. And then these ones are Persian cocktail cucumbers. So these ones are great for chefs. They're on the smaller side. Usually we're harvesting roughly around this size. These ones actually probably the juiciest out of all of them. But these are great to grow on the outsides because with this system we can lower and lean. So essentially as the cucumbers reach the top cable, we can lower the string down a couple feet and move each plant down a couple feet. And this entire greenhouse will begin wrapping on this cable. So this last one up here will cross this cable line. And we're pruning all the leaves and the fruits as they grow up to keep a lot of airflow. But overall, it's just going to be a vine that begins lying on the ground, and it'll come up another 10 feet on the other side because all your growth is going to stabilize between like waist high all the way up to the top. We tend to deal with mainly powdery mildew because it gets so humid in these greenhouses, and it doesn't kill the plant. It'll decrease its life. So we have to prune off a little heavier. So this is a good example of just a little bit of powdery that happens. And it's just a little fungal thing, not detrimental to the plant, something that we've just always dealt with being in Olinda in a humid climate. If you grow in California where it's drier, it's not as bad of an issue. But for these ones, they don't produce a lot of suckers, which are essentially like an entire new plant coming out of the armpit. So you have a leaf, you have the main stem, you have one cucumber, and then you'll have one sucker that wants to grow out. So we prune all these suckers off to put all the growth into that main leader. For this one, we don't actually have to prune suckers because they produce cucumbers so early on. So when we let this reach the top cable, we'll allow them all to trellis over, and then we allow them to waterfall back down to keep producing cucumbers. So it's a really effective way to maximize your yields in a really small amount of space. And once this house really starts getting going, this is our first week harvesting, it usually runs about 500 pounds a week for the first month or so, and then it begins to taper off. But as long as we continue fertigating with our compost tea, so like a fish emulsion, some seaweed, we'll add in some molasses as well. It keeps giving them enough of that nutrition to want to keep growing. And that also sometimes allows them to outcompete maybe some of the powdery mildew, so they can keep putting out enough new growth while we keep pruning off all that old growth. But this has always been a successful way for us to do it. It's a lot of labor to do all the clipping, but it does pay off to be able to have really straight fruits, clean fruits, everything's off the ground. And so you can eat it right after picking it.
We offer these at wholesale pricing. We offer these in home delivery as well, even at our farmers market in Napili. So we have 3 outlets for you. And if you're interested in wholesale for your cafe, your restaurant, your business, or your retail store, or for your dinner table, we can deliver direct to your door. It's been great to find such a quality product versus what you find in the supermarket or Costco's or the stores that might be sitting on the shelf for a week or 3 weeks because it got shipped here. And that's where we've come to find local food is the best things we can eat and the best things we can help our community thrive on and bring the standards of living up with sharing local food. Thanks for stopping in. Aloha.